Okay, so it looks like
Um, so for the questions, are you going to pop them up or
yeah,
just going to read
yeah,
them?
they're gonna pop them up. So it looks like we're live. Yeah, it's like
Oh,
we're like 10 seconds in. Awesome. I think yeah, Lucas is on the call with me. My name is Ryan Steinolfson. I'm with Accelerate Marketing. And I just wanted to, first of all, introduce Lucas and let you guys know a little bit about the structure of our call today and what our goal is. Our goal is to answer your questions and give you as much value as possible. And I've got my friend Lucas. Lucas, you want to introduce yourself as well?
hello everyone. My name is Lucas. I'm from Brazil. I live in the United States, and I have been doing marketing now for 4 years. And I've met Ryan through our content on the internet, and we have been talking about local service ads, our third live together, and
Yeah.
hopefully we can answer questions and help you guys succeed with your efforts in online marketing.
Absolutely. And the whole goal of these live sessions is to really just again give value back, answer any questions that you have, and then highlight you know where you can go to get your answers more importantly so that you can get real definitive take home solutions for whatever it is that you're trying to do with your marketing, whether it have to be with your Google Business Profile page or your local service ads page. A little about myself: I've been in this space for about 15 years. After I was in the biotech field for a while, like I was selling for biotech companies, and then I started my own agency about 15 years ago because I had people asking me to do it. This was back when people were trying to optimize their websites before Google Business Profile even started. And I still have clients, from actually one of my last clients that I had from back almost 15 years ago, just sold out to Cintas, and it was
Awesome.
a local company called Preventive Fire. And I remember back then helping him with just doing YouTube videos because this was before there was maps, showing up on Google, and before
Mhm.
obviously local service ads, and definitely before artificial intelligence, which we're going to talk a little bit about today as well. And I just also wanted to say, we've got our we've got Kaylee in the background. She's our social media marketing manager on my team, and she's the one who's going to be posting questions that Lucas and I are going to be answering. And before we do that, we've got about 15 questions lined up. And if you have any questions, please ask them. Please post them in the chat or post them on YouTube in the comment section. And Kaylee will take those. She'll post them, and then we'll answer them for you. But before we get started, Lucas, if what's one of the most uh, compelling or important strategies that you've learned recently for your businesses? What's really working right now?
So one of the things that I have always had in my mind in theory, but then I start applying was generating value in our campaigns. When you come up with ads that you're not trying to sell anything, you're genuinely trying to help people. I do that with local business here in this area, and
Hmm.
that's something that in the mid to long term I can get very good results. I
Yeah.
usually when I get the client for the first time, I don't run any sales campaign for the first month
Yeah.
to because I usually use videos to for top of funnel, so I'm just gathering interest to them to remarket to people. That's what I do, like on attention tools like Meta Ads or YouTube, for example.
Okay. So what's working right now? What's working the best for your clients, for you doing that work for your clients? What's really working better than anything that you've seen right now to generate
It's the
value?
funnel where we show them the video first, and then we target with a good offer. That has been working for event spaces, that companies that do event planning.
Hmm.
That has been working well for tree services company. We have a roofing company that does that as well, and it has been working well for them. I love using video on our campaigns. Video
Awesome.
is very good, awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Video is very powerful, especially when it's when you create like have them create like a like a YouTube channel like I've created. And if you give value, if you answer questions, which, speaking of questions and adding value, what questions do we have? I want to see, we can start with the first question here. Okay, so here's one. Okay, from Eric Eagle 19. Does Go High Level offer direct integration with local service ads, or do you need third-party tools to make them work together? So I know I can answer that. We do a lot of Google local service ads. Are you working on with Google local service ads as well, Lucas, or are you just doing
Yes.
Google? Okay. So
Yes.
yeah, what's your experience with this question with the Go High Level?
So if I wanted to integrate local service ads with high level, the procedure is going through the H2P process. You need to be approved with a local number. And then when you create the local service ads, you use that phone number. So every call and every message is directed to high level, and you can listen to the calls. You can respond to SMS messages from there. That's the way to do it with high level. Of course, you can create your local service ads without a high level number, but if the goal is to have that integrated, to have all your conversations, all your interactions in the same place, that's how you would do it, to have them integrated.
Yeah, I agree with that. So Go High Level, in a sense, does offer direct integration with local service ads, in the sense that you can set up. I think what you're saying, Lucas, is that you can set up a campaign both for voice and for messaging, where you can then have the conversations that are started in Go High Level to be connected to your local service ads campaign. But there's not a direct connection, so to speak. Like with call tracking platforms like CallRail, which we use as well, or Go High Level, you can actually set up a direct connection with, for example, PPC or Google Business Profile page. There's not an API connection, so to speak, but if you simply just set up a phone number and then you attach that number to your Google local service ads campaign, and by the way, you can do this in where the voice, where you attach the number where the voice is, where you attach the number to where the voice would be accepted. And then also there's another section where it's about messaging and where you can reply to messages. Now, and that's where you would put your your Go High Level phone number in that section of your Google local service ads page, in order to make sure that your Go High Level number is being used. So yes, there is an integration that you can do, but it's just by adding your phone numbers that you generate on Go High Level to those separate sections in the Google local service ads platform. Now, I'll take it one step further, that what I would do is I would set up a and here's what I would really do. Okay, here's the way to really take it to the next level. Because local service ads, and I've talked about this before, local service ads wants you to create a great experience for the person that calls through the local service ads platform. And what that looks like in Google's mind is when you can answer the phone and respond to message leads within 30 seconds. So this is the reason why you want to set up your Go High Level call tracking campaign, so that the plumbing is set up correctly. And what I mean by that is you want to make sure that your Go High Level plumbing is set up correctly by making sure that, and I would, by the way, I would connect artificial intelligence to your Go High Level. I would make sure that, and we do that. And there are other, and I don't know, there's not too many out there that can do that, but you want to connect a AI so that it can respond to your voice and to your message leads from the local service ads platform. And I don't know of any other companies that can do that other than ours actually right now. So what you can do is you can set up your plumbing in Go High Level such that when the phone call comes in, when you add that number, that Go High Level number to your local service ads campaign, you want to make it so that the first 20 seconds is going to your intake team, meaning your intake team has the first 20 seconds to answer the phone. Then what you do is and you can do this all through Go High Level. There's a way to do this, okay? Then you want to make it so that after the first 20 seconds, it goes to the artificial intelligence. Okay, so the AI will answer it just like a human. I was on the call just about an hour ago with a garage door company owner, and he was just blown away by how real the AI sounds. It sounds just like a human. And you would, by the way, you would set up other features in the Go High Level platform in order to make sure that you increase the likelihood that the calls are answered in 30 seconds. One of those features we like to call simulcall. It's what CallRail calls simulcall, meaning you can ring multiple numbers at the same time so that you increase the likelihood that the call is answered within 30 seconds. So you want to have like all hands on deck. So it's like you ring everybody's number that's available from 9 to 5. So that might be your receptionist, it might be you, it might be your partner, it might be your people out in the field, but you want to make sure that you ring as many numbers as possible, and the first one that gets it is the one that answers it. Okay, that's what's called simulcall. The other thing that you want to do is you want to set up the plumbing on Go High Level so that, and we call it call flow, so that you ring certain numbers from 9 to 5, and then other numbers from 5 to 9, and then after hours. Okay. And this will increase the number of leads that you get from Google local service ads. Why do you want to get more leads? Because almost every business that I talk to, all they want to do is just get more leads from Google local service ads. Why? Because the cost per acquisition for them to acquire a new client is so low on Google local service ads. So it's really, and Eric saying, yeah, offered, okay, but you can't respond to LSA dashboard message. Yeah, you cannot. Sorry, yes, great question, John. Yeah, great answer, response. You cannot respond to the LSA dashboard messages in Go High Level. Not yet. You can actually in our platform, in the software that we have. So it would be it would ride on top of the Go High Level platform. And again, so you want to use that simulcall to ring as many numbers as you can at the same time. You want to use call flow so that you send the calls to, certain numbers from 9 to 5, and then other, like those simulcall numbers from 9 to 5, and then other numbers from 5 to 9, and then after hours, so that you can get as many of those leads as possible. And then you want to have that 20-second delay, we like to call it, so that the humans get the first 20 seconds and then the AI gets the last 20 seconds. And message leads, yes, you can definitely respond to message leads with AI, because I know a lot of you guys are having issues with getting notifications, and we can send you notifications instantly, whereas LSA is known to not respond or not to let you know when these messages are coming in.
That's terrible.
So that's one of the things that, and it's really frustrating because they're also determining who to send leads to by how fast you respond to the message lead. So if they're setting you up for non-success, then you need to find a solution outside of having LSA tell you. So why not set up the AI agent to answer all calls? Yes, you can. That's a great question, David. I would love to hear what you think about that, Lucas, about having the AI answer all calls, or making it first line, we like to call it.
So I do have clients that have a different scenario. I have clients that are Brazilians, they work in the US, so English is not their first native language. So they have sometimes a hard time understanding exactly what their client wants during the phone calls. So there's a couple that I work with, and both of them are the owners of the company. One of them is very good at English, the other one not very great. So what I have done is I have cloned their voices. I use an integration with 11 Labs. So now when people call their business, it's the guy's voices that's answering and giving them, oh, this is, we're open from 8 to 6. You can come here to have your car inspected with us. So in their case, every single call, I have the AI answering, but it's a work that you have to be on top of every single call, because you will get calls that you haven't anticipated yet. The other day I had a call about someone asking about the status of a car that was there. So in that case, the bot does not know the answer. So we need to say, oh, someone internally would get in touch with you. At least. So that's the type of work that you will need to be doing if you get to answer all calls. You need to anticipate every single scenario.
Yeah, and I think that, okay, so I want to get that multilingual question. So I would set up the AI to answer all calls if you've effectively built out the knowledge base so that you can handle all of the fringe cases, all of the outlier cases like Lucas is talking about. In the meantime, in order to train up the AI, because the AI is just like a little kid, it takes, I mean, you're literally taking a 4-year-old and you're training it, and over time, it's going to learn much faster than a 4-year-old. It literally, all you got to do is just give it the knowledge base and the baseline. And the other key is that whoever you use for your AI agent service, you want to make sure that you've got a very quick and easy way to be able to edit not the prompt, but the underlying structure of the actual knowledge base. And with our system, you can. It's a simple thumbs up, thumbs down system. And so, in other words, if you see a conversation, and by the way, the multilingual, you can do multilingual in text. It can switch back and forth. But with voice, it's like once it starts, it's on a program, and you can't switch it to another language. So you're either doing one language or another. So we've not really figured out yet how to really switch midstream in a conversation, a voice one. But with text, you can absolutely switch back and forth. The AI agent is multilingual and interactive and fluent. Can I get it done? Yeah, absolutely. We definitely can. We've got multiple, demos that we can do. And, I also want to say that when we onboard somebody, we onboard them. It usually takes about 5 to 10 days. And the basic onboarding is just that. It's basic in the beginning. We're just answering the phone, responding to questions, qualifying the person, sending notifications to you, those type of things. And it really is an amazing system. And actually, Kristen might even be able to, or Kaylee can actually post potentially in the description or in the comments. We've got 2 demo phone numbers, and we can get those to you. Predictive or generative? It's generative and predictive. It's let's see. Okay, that's a good question. So so Lucas, is yours, what about the multilingual? Do you want to address that, and then predictive or generative?
Yeah, so on 11 Labs, there is a model of language that's called multi, that you can have the AI agent switch back and forth between English and Spanish within the same conversation.
For voice?
Yeah, for voice. Yeah.
Okay.
You need to have a specific provider. Well, I use VAPI. So on VAPI, you do have that option. It might be, if you use a different provider, it might be a different setting. It might be a different thing that you have to tweak. But in my case, just to explain, it's that the guy doesn't know very good English. So it's not like he wants to answer calls from Spanish and also English. He only knows how to speak Portuguese well, and he has clients that speak English and Spanish. So he cannot answer calls himself. We need to have the AI agent to get those messages and then funneling into the company.
Yeah, that's good. So you can switch there, and this is this is a constantly changing, ever evolving arena, and it's changing so fast. And I do want to say, I want to go back to the question about using the AI first line. The way that we would do it in order to train is I would do the 20-second delay to have the humans answer, especially if you've got a good and very well-trained intake team initially, so that you're not putting all of your eggs in one basket in the beginning. And that way we have time to really do the thumbs up, thumbs down, and to change the underlying structure of the prompt at a fundamental level based on your knowledge of how you want the questions to be answered. And again, when we really reinforce the knowledge base with as much data as we possibly can, so that it understands, how to answer questions about your business and the way that you want them answered, that's also going to make a very, a much better AI agent for you guys. So it is generative. So I hope that answers your question. And then what other questions do we have? Yeah. Let's see. What should I do if I'm just starting out with high level and LSAs? Tip for beginners, what you do from the beginning. What do you think, Lucas?
So if if you're just starting with high level on LSA, I would follow the first step of what we just discussed here to have the high level number when you create the LSA profile. And I'm not sure if they are asking about a case where the client has just started and so they don't have enough reviews and they want to start with already with local service ads. If that's the case, I would not only do local service ads, I would do Google ads and local service ads at the same time. Because on the local service ads, most likely you won't spend anything on the first 2-3 weeks until you have your profile approved and you have enough reviews. And then you need to do a work to start getting reviews there, putting more information into your profile, and making sure you answer every single call. I think in this case, you need to use both simultaneously, using Google Ads as a way to attract people to your website. You try to get those reviews, and then you start ranking more and ranking higher on local service ads. Then you start getting those clients in. Of course, having the high level automations for calls missed, to answer your inquiries via SMS, that's very important as well. But as a basic setup, that's what I would recommend for starters.
Yeah, I agree with you, Lucas. I think that setting up an LSA account with a proper number of reviews is really important. Before we go to the next question, I think that setting up an LSA with a proper number of reviews, because that's going to help the conversion rate, like I had mentioned before, and that's why I recommend in the beginning, especially if you have a high volume of calls, to have that 20-second delay put in there for your intake team to be able to answer the phone. The other thing that I would do is make sure that you only turn on your LSA when you have that phone number attached that has everything set up like I talked about. I would have it set up so that you've got redundancy for your intake team and a backup with artificial intelligence, or at least a call service. But I don't even recommend call services anymore because that's so last year. I mean, call services are not necessary anymore. They're out of business, honestly. Because what call services do is 30% of the time they put the calls go to music hold, and that's counted as a missed call, and that's gonna hurt your rankings. Because for local service ads, it's all about the 3 R's. I've been talking about this for years in this channel. It's reviews, radius, response rate. So we already talked about the reviews. You want to get those. You want to make sure your LSA page is connected to your Google Business Profile page, so that all those reviews are transferred from your GBP page to your LSA page correctly. Once that's done, you want to make sure that you have call tracking set up from the beginning, so you have that plumbing that I was telling you about, so that you can properly move the calls to where they need to go through call flow and through SimuCall. And then you want to make sure that you can build that 20-second delay in with the call tracking. So call tracking is really, we don't even use it for call tracking. It's great for call tracking, but it's also the features that are really more important that I mentioned before, the other three features that I just mentioned. And then you want to make sure that you've got your call rail, or you've got your your call tracking set up, and that you've got your everything working before you actually turn the ad on and go live. Okay, because if you turn the ad on before you're ready, before you actually have all the things that I mentioned set up, what you're going to do is you're going to create an experience that's not that great for the people that are actually calling your business. And Google listens to those phone calls. They know when people are calling and they're going to a music hold, or when the call is answered after 30 seconds. And when that happens, and this happens with message leads. And I would also make sure that your message leads are turned on, okay? And that you have a way to actually answer or respond to those message leads instantly. And the best way to do it right now, because there's other systems out there that just send an automatic response to a message lead. But what I would say is a better way to do this, because we've got AI now, is to be able to have the AI have a full conversation with the person, and then allow your team to take over that message, and then to have your team be notified at the same time when that message comes in immediately, not by LSA, but by a system like that another system. And so those are the things that I would do. I would make sure that everything's in place before you go live, so that you can give Google what it wants. Because when you give Google what it wants, then Google will give you the rankings that you want, and you'll be in that top impression, which is one of the things that I would track as well, is the percentage of time that you're at the top impression. So you want to really try to get and be in that top impression at least 40% of the time, or 50%. That's when you're going to get a decent number of phone calls, and you're not going to be paying a lot for them, and you're going to get a pretty decent conversion rate, because you're going to be at the top. Because people just naturally, intuitively, they go from the top to bottom. So they'll call the top at the, in the beginning, and then they'll go to the second. And if they send a message lead to the top one, and let's say that guy at the top doesn't have a system to actually respond to message leads that is automated, then what's going to happen is that the person's going to go and send a message lead using the LSA system automatically, because LSA makes it so easy to actually send the same message that it sent to the top guy to 3 other businesses. And they're going to send it to 3 other businesses. And if that first guy doesn't have an automated system to respond, then they're just going to go right to the next business, and they're probably going to go with them if they respond quickly. So those are things that I would think of. Here's another question from Sharon Franklin. Sharon's been pretty active. I think she's thoughts on all of the duplicate leads and I missed that last one. So I don't know if I missed it, but I'll go to this one for right now. Thoughts on all of the duplicate leads that Google LSA is charging for, and how they consider a lead new after only 15 days. Okay. Do you want to take that, Lucas?
So I don't get much of these cases, but I would assume that you are able to dispute those charges with Google if they are considering, because if you already have attended a lead and 15 days later they called, it should not be considered a new lead unless it's a new service that they're requesting for.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a good. So we are seeing a lot now, because of the disputation process that has changed now to a survey process, and I think that's what this person is talking about. So if we maybe go back to that question just to make sure we have it up for people, it really, there's a lot of duplicate leads that Google LSA is charging for, and it's because of this new survey process. And we actually go through and we submit the survey process for our clients. It's not the same as the disputation process, but it can be somewhat of an involved process if it's done correctly. And the whole reason for it is to make sure that we get our businesses better leads, the type of leads that they're looking for, and how they consider a lead new after. It is a little crazy that they actually consider a lead new potentially after 15 days. And this is something that, we've objected to, with Google, as far as whether or not it's a new lead or not. And, we'll see how this survey process goes. I've had mixed reviews. A lot of my businesses have said that they're actually getting about the same number of disputions that, or the same credit back, the percentage, based on the percentage of overall leads that they get, they're getting about the same now back in credit that they're doing the survey process, and that Google is really taking over, who they will give credit for and who they won't. So, I'd be curious to see what anybody else's thoughts are on that. But let's go to the next question.
There's one thing, right? We are talking about having the high level number on local service ads. The other thing that's really important we haven't mentioned is how you can use those numbers in the future, especially for I have a roofing company that they are storm chasers. So whenever there's storm, they hit that area with ads. But we always capture zip codes, like address of every single person that gets in touch with us, because since we're in an area that is hit with storms quite frequently, when we know about a storm, we just see, do we have people within that zip code? We just send a mass SMS messages to those people, because then we can even create an offer that makes sense, because they already, we have 50 people within the zip code. Let's message all of them, create one offer for them, and if they accept within a week, we can take care of all of them. So that's another way that you can use all the all the people that have got in touch with you in the past.
Yeah, I agree. So what Lucas is referring to is the ability that you have with a CRM like Go High Level, for example, to once somebody is actually opted in and they've given you their cell phone and or their email, you can then remarket to them and send them a text or an email, especially if you know that they're in an area that was affected by a service that you offer. So that's a great point. So once you set those phone numbers up, you can definitely go back and do some very specific targeting, based on the geographies that those people are at or in. So we got a question from, good point. So thank you for that. Harding Contracting, awesome. How do you connect your GBP profile to Go High Level when running local service ads? Okay, you can't, so there's not a way that I know of to connect the Google business. Do you want to answer this, Lucas? Do you want to?
Well, you can use your high level number in your Google business profile, so you can get those calls, but there isn't like a connection between, because Google is treating those differently now, your Google business profile and your local service ads. Because in the beginning, the reviews used to be funneling into the same place, but now they're considering both differently. So I have a client that their Google business profile is right now is needing verification, but their local service ads is running normally. So to connect would be the same way that we have the same process we have described with the local service ads, using the high level number on the Google business profile. If that's the goal here.
Yeah, I think what Lucas is saying is you just get a phone number from Go High Level. In other words, there's not an API connection. There's not a protocol interface, an API interface that would create a direct connection between Go High Level and your Google Business Profile page. So that's what GBP stands for everybody that doesn't know. It used to be called Google Business and Google Maps, Google My Business. Now it's just Google Business Profile. So all that somebody needs to do is, if you've got a Go High Level account or a CallRail account, you just create a phone number, and then you use that number, you identify it as your Google Business Profile number, and then you attach it to your Google Business Profile page. Now, I will say, as a caveat, is that if you really want to do some really good call tracking, you want to put that code, that call pool, they call it a phone pool, that it's just a pool of numbers that you get, and you can do this with Go High Level, and you can also do this with any call tracking platform. We do this, like I said, a lot of times with CallRail. You put that JavaScript on your website, and what it does is it rotates through that pool of numbers, so that when somebody clicks on, for example, your Google Business Profile page, and they go to your local service ads page, and they make a phone call from your website, what happens is we then can track that first click back to where they started, which is to your Google Business Profile page or your local service ads page. Now, I will say that Google Business CallRail does have a direct API connection to your Google Business Profile page. There is an API connection there. You don't need to have it. It's not 100% necessary. It just creates a little bit more of a solid connection. And as opposed to just creating a phone number and then just putting that phone number on your GBP page. So just a little caveat there. For whatever reason, Go High Level hasn't created that connection, that API connection, and so that's really it. So how do you connect? Okay, yeah. I've been tinkering with my profile on LSA. What did you change in the budgeting bidding? I'm running max leads, but curious what happens if I increase my max per lead. Good question. What do you think, Lucas?
Well, usually on local service ads, I only change the budget when my client is already getting good results. We see that the number of impressions is good on his profile, the number of top impressions is good as well, and then he wants to get more leads, then that's when I increase the budget. But most of the cases, if you want to improve like how many leads you're getting, it's going to be through getting your clients a better experience, answering every single call, answering every single message, and also having the reviews, asking for people to get you new reviews. Have a system in place that you always get reviews whenever you finish a job. So that's how the process of improving count will be. But if you do increase your budget, what will happen is it's more likely that you get more leads. You will spend more, but more likely you get more leads as well.
Yes. I would agree with that. So, Aaron, I don't know if you've seen the Saturday Night Live skit with Aaron, but anyway, it just reminded me of that. It's funny. Anyway, so Aaron 447. So bidding and budgeting is a really it's a topic that I really like to cover with my clients. First of all, I want to make sure that my clients do not change the bidding or budget too often, because what happens is every time you change the bidding or the budgeting, it does do somewhat of a reset on your account. In other words, if you just every 3 to 5 days change your bidding and your budget, you probably wouldn't get any leads, because there's a reset that happens that for about 3 to 5 days for you to start getting leads again. So I would first of all just caveat it by saying that you don't want to change it very often. If you're running max leads but curious, what happens if I increase the max per lead? If you increase the amount that you're willing to bid per lead, you're gonna most likely you're probably gonna get more leads. Now, what I would do though is if you're not getting the number of leads or you're not getting the top impression spot like Lucas was talking about, then I would also try to change that if you're not happy, but don't change it very often. Just change it once, see what happens. If that top impression goes up and if your lead volume goes up, then leave it. If not, go back after like I would give it at least a week. And then about getting reviews, there is a strategy that we have for using our AI to get reviews. We're actually going to have the artificial intelligence do an outbound phone call to actually ask the person if they're open to leaving a review, and then send a suggested review. So let me know if you guys have any interest in that by sending some comments, because
that's amazing.
Yeah. So it's we're leveraging AI, and there's also a big increase, by the way, in people wanting to actually leave a review, and the conversion rate of people leaving a review if you simply ask them first. So we're going to do that by sending an outbound phone call, and then texting the person after they give us the approval while they're on the phone, and say, hey, the AI will say, hey, we sent you a text with the link to leave a review. Did you receive it? Great. Okay. And then here's a suggested review based on the business that we've done with you so far. And the AI will generate. Yeah. So let me know if you guys have any interest in that. That's what we're going to be doing. What have multiple locations, and notice, okay, we have multiple locations, and notice that Indiana and Kentucky locations cost per lead on max bid is $35 to $45. But to get leads in our Tennessee market, more like $80 per lead and coming in less frequently. Thoughts? Okay. Per lead on max bid is 35, but we get leads in our we have multiple locations, and notice that in Indiana and Tennessee locations, cost per lead on max bid is 35, but to get leads in our Tennessee market, more like 80. Okay. Yeah. So in other words, yeah, you're having to pay more in your Tennessee market than Indiana and Kentucky. And then you're getting fewer leads. It's just a function of the market. And, this is what we see. And by the way, if you're looking to identify what markets to go into as a local service ad partner, we can tell you where there is the least amount of competition and the lowest cost, the least amount of competition with the highest amount of searches for your particular vertical. Because this is part of what's going on here. Danielle Torres is, I think it's Danielle. Yeah, Danielle Torres. Thanks for the question, by the way. is that it's a function of the total number of leads that are available in any given market and what the market's willing to pay for them. So it's a supply and demand, and some markets there's just more competitors. And this is why it's so important to be working with a Google local service ad partner, so that you can identify where to go next, where to open up your next best location, where you're going to be able to get the chance to have more leads at a lower cost per lead. Okay. So any thoughts on that? What do you think, Lucas?
Yeah, it's the market would change based on location. I have I serve clients there in capitals like Austin, Texas, but I also have clients who are locally here. I live
Mhm.
in like right here where I live in a 40-mile radius. There's 150,000 people, so the market here is way less agitated than in Austin, Texas. The amount of searches, the competition in other areas is way bigger than here. So that definitely happens. There are cases where we have launched a client, and in the same day they're already getting leads. In other cases, there's more competition, so we need to do a work of getting more reviews, making sure that the profile is updated with all the information. So yeah, that does happen. The cost per lead is not fixed.
Yeah, it's definitely not fixed. And if you identify the right market, you should, from our experience, if you go after the right market, you should be able to get leads right away. I mean, really, it should, and especially if you set up your LSA correctly from the beginning. And that's why I like to say, like, it's more of what we do. And I just got a call today from a guy that he chose not to hire us. I think it was like 6 months ago, back in April. And I told him, I said the same thing that I'll tell you right now, is that it's less of us optimizing your campaign, because he's already spending like $25,000 a month, and on his local service ads. It's more of what we're going to do to keep that business coming in. Unfortunately, he wasn't working with a partner, so he didn't get partner level support, so he wasn't able to get some of the questions answered that he needed, and his top impression rate went from 60% or 70% down to 11% this past week, and his lead volume went from it's about maybe one sixth what it was before. And so he went from spending almost 30,000 a month to now he's spending only about 8,000 a month. And so what is it worth for you to be able to keep that business when you're working with a partner? Some of the questions he wasn't able to answer himself. He needed somebody on his side. He needed a partner that has Google's ear, and not just the ear of a customer service rep that's a contract salesperson, but somebody that actually works at Google. When you call customer service from the back office of your LSA account, you're talking to a customer service rep that's basically a contract person. They don't even work for Google. And a lot of times you'll get one answer from one person, and you'll get a different answer from every single rep that you talk to. Where we've been working with our partner support, and we get the right answer every single time and quickly. So it's really important. So what was the other question there? There was a question that I think was up on the screen. Okay. Could you explain more about reviews with AI? Google reviews are really hard to get sometimes. Yes. So what I was saying, Kaylee Anderson, is thanks for the question. What we're building is a system, because I agree, it's really hard to get reviews. Okay. So what we found is, number one, is you want to ask for the permission to send the link, and AI can do that for you. And it's such a quick conversation. Sometimes people don't even know that it's AI. So the AI will just call and say, hey, it's XYZ from ABC company. And, we're just calling today to see how the service went today. And did you have a great experience? And, oh, yes. Yeah. A great experience. Okay. Yes. Great. Great. Great to hear that you had a great experience. Would you mind if I text over a link for you to leave a review? Because we only get our next clients based on how we service our current clients and their ability to be able to share that experience. So we want to make that as easy as possible. So do you mind if I send you a link right now or text it to you? Yes, great. Okay, I just texted you the link. The AI will text the link, and with the link, the second message below it will be a suggested review that the person would then just have to copy and paste. And the AI will still be on the phone with them and say, hey, I just texted you a link, and also I texted you a suggested review that you can just copy and paste into that link there that I just sent you to be able to leave a review. And the AI will just wait on the phone. They'll be able to even confirm if the review went live and respond instantly to it. So that's the system that we're actually
Right, you
setting
gave
up.
me an amazing idea. That's the next thing I'm going to be doing. A
Yeah,
bot for review, an AI
yeah,
agent for reviews. That's amazing. 'Cause I
yeah,
usually do via SMS. But I think with the voice agent calling someone asking if they enjoy the service and then sending the link, I think it's more effective.
Yeah. So, Kaylee, just let us know if that's a service that you would want to pay for, and let us know, what you think. How much would you pay for a service like that? Let us know so that we can create a fair pricing for you. All right. So, can you explain how the lead dispute process changed in light of automated lead crediting? Great question. What do you think, Lucas?
I will let you answer that one. I haven't dived too deep into the new dispute process. I do see that my clients are getting the credit automatically, but I
Yeah.
think you have more insight than I have on this.
Yeah, yeah. So the lead dispute process has turned into a survey process, and the survey process is such that you ask you answer, or our team, if we're doing it for you, which we do, if we are managing your LSA for you, so we can save you time, energy, and effort, and have you work and do what you do best. What we do is we answer questions to make sure that you're getting the best leads possible. So it gives Google insight to send you the best type of leads that will convert for you. And then Google will then take that information, and sometimes it can actually go through a mini disputation process. So there is a way to actually dispute the call through the survey process. Okay. So that's all that's changed. What Google's doing really, though, is they are taking control of those credits for you, which a lot of people don't really like. And I do have to say that it seems like Google is giving about the same amount of credits as was given before, even when the client was actually doing or disputing the calls themselves. So I know my team could potentially even add a little bit more insight, because my team's the one that really are the experts on this. But that's what I mean, I'm shooing away a mosquito here. That's why if you see me through in my hand. But anyway, so unless, like, I know that Christine's probably on the call. Christine can probably post some comments in the comments as well. So Christine, if feel free to add any more color to what I just shared to for Sean Washington there. So Sean, thanks for the question. What other questions do we have? We have a few more. We got about 10 more minutes to go here before we wrap it up. So Dan Houston, so get in your questions so that we can answer them live for you. And if we don't answer them now, we'll answer them on the next live that we do. As long as I follow and this is from Dan Houston 2715, as long as I follow the 3 R's and have all the settings right, do I really need a marketing service to run my Google? Yeah, good question. And Go High Level account. Okay, and this is why I said what I did a second ago, because it's not about what we're going to do to really optimize your local service ads campaign. It's what we're going to do to keep you out of Google's doghouse or out of the sandbox. That example that I gave you earlier is a conversation that I have almost daily with businesses, where they go, Ryan, I know I need your services now because I'm desperate. I've gone from spending $27,000 a month to 8,000, and I just want to get more leads. My team's not busy, and they're sitting there twiddling their thumbs. I'm about to have to let go of 10 of my drivers. What do I do? That, like, I don't want anybody to be in that situation. So and there's so many different nuances around the Google local service ads platform and the Google business profile platform that require not only optimization but just continual management. And for example, my team listens to all the phone calls. They do that so that they can understand what's being said, and so that they can notify you immediately when something is going in the direction that it shouldn't be going. Whenever the the top response, or the top impression rate goes down, we let you know, and we take corrective action so that it's not festering, so that we can actually get it resolved very quickly. And there's so many strategies that we can give you that will help you to make it so that all the calls are counted as responded to, and we're always listening to what Google is saying and the changes they're making, so that you can be on top of it, and so that if you have a situation or an instance like I told you earlier about the guy that we get questions all the time where this guy, for example, earlier needed help, and he needed help immediately because he went from 30,000 to 8,000 a month. And so we needed to go to our partner representative instead of going to support in order to get that problem resolved quickly so that the bleeding could stop. So and seriously, that's almost $22,000 difference. What's the profit margin on that? Is it really worth it to not hire a specialist, to if for nothing else, just to keep an eye on the account and to be able to have access to partner level support along with all the other, because there's not many levers to pull, but it's really important as a result to make sure what levers to pull and how hard to pull them and in what direction to push them or pull them. And I don't know, is there anything you want to add to that, Lucas?
Yeah, I would say that because I do have a client that he has like 3 people on his commercial department that is just there to answer calls, do follow-ups. So he does have a lot of investment on his company to have people answering every single call, to have a human department. So you can go through that route, or you can have a profession that will set up an AI agent that's able to pick up every single call. That's going to cost you less than having a department just responsible for that. And you can focus on your own business. So I think
Absolutely.
it's more like analyzing both routes, having
Yeah.
one where you have to absolutely making sure that all your employees are there to answer every single call, answer every single text message, and the other route where you use technology to help you while you grow your business.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because and that's the other layer is it's not just knowing the levers to pull and push, it's also knowing what Google wants and giving Google what it wants through the plumbing that I explained earlier, through setting up the Go High Level in the way that it sets up the AI to answer the phone. And only an experienced LSA partner would even understand how to set up the plumbing on Go High Level. I'll tell you that I'll tell you another story. I was working with a franchise partner, or one of our clients, and they have 100 locations, actually 300 locations, and they have a Go High Level expert on their team. Well, I asked the Go High Level expert, because we're setting up the AI for them to actually set up the plumbing with the 3 features that I mentioned earlier: the Simu call, the call flow, and the 20-second delay, so that we could properly set up the AI for this yoga studio. Well, you would think that they would know how to do that. This expert, he does not know how to do it. I had to bring in my Go High Level guy in order to set up the 3 features, just to set up the plumbing correctly so the AI could function properly. Once that's set up, then you have a chance at potentially having the AI work properly. And it's also having an understanding of how to set up the AI specifically for local service ads. There's a difference between setting up an artificial intelligence agent, by the way, for voice and for messaging, and also to have an agency that can do both voice and messaging AI. That's a big difference, and that's why we specialize just in local service ads, and that's really it. And we do Google Business Profile Optimization as well, but really we just focus on local service ads. And the reason why we do the GBP is because they're connected. We have to do it almost, because sometimes we need to fix their GBP or optimize their GBP and set it up correctly in order to set up the LSA correctly. And again, that goes back to the knowledge that's necessary to make sure that everything's set up correctly before you get started. So I hope that makes sense. I mean, it's like, why, if I'm going to get a vasectomy, I'm going to go to the guy that's done 100,000 vasectomies before he goes down there in that neck of the woods. For me, that's all.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to the guy that just came out of, I love my son. He's he's coming out of vet school pretty soon, but I might not be sending, my dog to my son initially. This is why these guys go. These vet, these initial, these fresh new graduates, they go and they get their, they get discounted training, at discounted facilities and stuff like that. So Danielle Torres, any ideas on how our phone operators who take calls could possibly know that a call they've just taken came from Google LSA? Probably
That's
not
possible.
possible, but it would
That,
be nice.
that's
Exactly. So
possible.
go ahead and answer it, Lucas. Yeah,
Well, if you do have your high level number set up, there's a whisper message function. I can't say about CallRail. I imagine that CallRail must have that as well.
it
But you
does.
do have a way to enable the whisper message, and that's the first thing that they will hear before the call gets connected. So you can add. I do a call from Google Ads, call from local service ads, so they know the origin of that call.
Absolutely. What Lucas said is absolutely correct. Please submit your questions. By the way, if you guys have any other questions, if we don't get to them now, we will get to them. We have a few more that we can answer here. You can absolutely put that whisper on the call so that it says, this is another call from Google Local Service Ads before it actually connects the call. And you can do that with
Mhm.
CallRail. You can do that with any platform that you want. And it definitely, and we do that because we used to, in the beginning, back in the early days, we'd be like, yeah, this is another lead generated by Accelerate Marketing. It was like, it was like really slick. And we just wanted to, every single time they got a phone call from us, to be reminded, this is what you're
Mhm.
getting for our services. And this is why call tracking is so important. This goes back to the fundamental principles of tracking. You can only improve what you measure. And the ultimate foundation for any business is measuring phone calls. If you're not measuring phone calls, then you're not tracking your results. And what are we really doing then? Ultimately,
Mhm.
if we're not able to track, because then I'm not able to even show you the value I'm giving you. If I can't tell you that I'm
Exactly.
giving you a 20% increase in the overall number of leads that you're getting from Google Business Profile by putting a tracking number on GBP, and then local service ads, I give you a 30% increase by optimizing that, then what are we doing? And then the next step is putting the AI on there and then measuring the conversion rate to see if we're getting a better conversion rate by answering the phone 100% of the time and responding to message leads instantly, so that you get the little blurb below your ad that says typically replies in seconds. Guys, we're seeing that if you just have AI respond to your message leads, that you get about a 30 to 50, or sometimes even doubling or tripling over 2 to 3 months in the overall lead volume that you get from LSA, not just message leads, but also phone. Okay. So I hope that makes sense, guys. I hope that, one more. Thank you for, yeah, let's wrap it up. I wanted to keep going, man. Anyway, so, thank you for
It was
watching.
fun.
Yeah. Follow Lucas on YouTube. Call, yeah, 619-547-0207 for our AI
That's your
demo.
demo.
Yeah.
That's your
And then
AI
we
demo.
also, Kaylee, if you can put a link to the YouTube video, showing the demo, so they don't even have to call. There's a YouTube link that we have as well that we'll put in the description, so that you guys can just click on the link, so you can see, you can hear the conversation happening. But text us, with any questions. You can also text me directly. At 619, or us there directly, my team, 619-304-5155. That's also in the description. You can go to Accelerate Your Marketing. Yeah, text audit to 619-304 for your free audit of LSA. And then, Lucas, where can people get a hold of you?
Well, my YouTube channel, Lucas Dantas, people can look for it. On Instagram, people can look for I am Lucas Dantas, and there's links for my community, my freebies. I have some snapshots that I give away, so people can find me on Instagram and also on YouTube, and they find all my links are there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It was amazing to be here with you guys. Very, very fun. Just have this conversation, learning more about local service ads with the guy who has been doing this from the beginning. So it's amazing to be here with you guys again.
Thanks, Lucas. I appreciate it. And by the way, Kaylee just posted your YouTube
Yep.
and your Instagram there. So yeah, yeah, at Lucas Dantas. And
Yep, that's
yeah,
correct.
thanks for joining. Thanks for joining, Lucas. Thanks for joining everybody else. Let us know if you got any questions. Put comments in there. If we didn't get your question today, we definitely will the next time we get on. And thank you very much. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, Ryan. Have a great weekend. Bye,
You too.
Kaylee.